Hello and welcome to Tabletop 24. I'm Alan.
I'm John.
I'm Brian.
And welcome to another episode of Would Play Again, where we take a look at games we've recently got to the table with a view of how quickly we can get them back to the table. With ever-growing collections, time can be precious. So we ask the question of, would we play again? Today we have Honk from Sinister Fish Games. Now, up front, we must say that this was provided by them quite kindly for us to do this review and also the playthrough that you will see on the channel. But we do want to say that up front. It doesn't impact our views, but it is there. In Honk, we are trying to deal with this mischievous gaggle of geese that have gathered, and we are trying to deal with them by feeding them in order to get some eggs off them for points. And we will also be looking for some golden eggs that are scattered at the bottom of this pile that may give us some between 1 and 3 additional points. On our turn, we are going to either gather food to feed them or feed them. Okay. When we gather food, we can gather up to 2 bits of food, and they must be from different piles. So you couldn't grab 2 blue, you'd have to potentially grab a blue and a red. If you was then to have more than 7 food in your pile, you would then have to discard down to 7. So bear that in mind. You don't want to be just gathering resources everywhere. If you was then to have enough food to feed one of these geese, you could then use that, put that back to the supply, and then take the goose from the pile. That will then give you an egg per goose that was in your collection. Again, if I would then come along and fed this geese, or this goose, I would then be able to gain 2 additional eggs. So you're kind of building on that set collection that's going to get you the best. If, for instance, when I revealed a goose, I'm just going to mess with the pile here, I happen to reveal a golden egg, completely unshadowed by any other goose on the board, I then get to take that. And I keep it secret until the end of the game. And at the end of the game, we're going to flip it and we're going to look at how many points we've got. The game will keep continuing in turns, go around clockwise order until we have fed all of the geese on the table. And we would then come back, look at how many eggs we've got. They're all worth 1 point each. And then we would flip any of our golden eggs and add the point that's on the back. As I said before, that would be either 1, 2, or 3 points that you have there. So it can really be enough to swing the game. Person with the most points would then be the winner of Honk.
Straight off the bat, this is a very, very simple game. There's a lovely mix of resource and hand management and a bit of a dex game in picking up the geese, making sure you're not disturbing the other ones underneath. But in terms of gameplay, you feed geese, or you take some food to feed a geese. Goose.
Gander.
See, I'm getting it wrong. But yeah, so in terms of that, it's a relatively simple game. It can be longer to set up to than play because you're putting the eggs down and piling everything on top. You know, it's literally make sure you've got enough cards and you're taking the geese off the pile. But what that does, it ends up to being kind of a race game because when you're down at the bottom with the golden eggs and you know there's the extra points, you're kind of the pace picks up a bit because you're knowing, well, I need to get that, I need to get that. And when we have played it, people were revealing those 2 golden eggs instead of one underneath the goose to give boost to points is quite nice.
Yeah, you've got to be really careful as well because at the start with you're going to be wanting to gain these collections so that you're gaining the same set. So once you get the same set, you're going to be exponentially getting eggs.
Yeah, so I was going to say the same thing really. So you're looking at the board, you can see what's coming up a little bit. Some of the food stuff might be hidden slightly. You can't quite see exactly what you're going to need there, but you're looking for the colours. You're trying to say, okay, I've got that one. I need to get this one here as well. Yeah. So you're sort of thinking ahead. You try to prepare the food for next couple of rounds. There's the frustration aspect, which is in a good way, where you've got your resources. You're going to buy that one there, and then all of a sudden John comes in and gets it before you.
Yeah.
So you can't get that one, but you still got the resources to buy the next one that comes out.
It's interesting that when we played it, we all had the cards open and visible to everybody, rather than keeping in your hand, so you can't see what other people have.
That's a good point. Yeah,
we all had them open, which I think, you know, we're almost planning there. Well, they're going to get that one on that round. You're going to get that one on the round. So I'm looking a bit further into the pile to make sure I'm getting that one.
Yeah.
But that's an interesting. You know, I never thought of actually.
You could have held it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be quite good actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think probably one of the things we probably should mention first off is we understand we're not the target audience for this game.
Really?
But that's not really going to sway too much on that. I think it's a very good introduction to hand management and set collection with a silly little theme that's attached to it. You've got very minimal things to manage. You're just looking to get points, and you've got this nice little swingy bit of somebody that can get a golden egg or has managed to get the sets that's going to get more points because they've got the sets. So I think from an introduction level for a younger audience or a family game, I think this is absolutely fantastic.
I mean, even when we played it, the excitement of picking up the last thing of the goose here. Oh, I've got 2 eggs here. Look. That was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it gives you that little bit of excitement, that little bit of buzz. And we did do a playthrough of this, which will hopefully be up on the channel either before or after this video. So check that out. You can see how these two wanted to be like kids and do the start player. The person who says honk.
It's in the rules. You have to say honk the loudest. It's in the rules.
Brian has the biggest lungs.
Yeah.
I think the age ceiling on this, certain groups of people would not get anything out of this, and certain games nights that you go to, people would, if they're into your heavier games, or I think there's other games that would be played instead of filler games, because in essence, for an older audience, this is what this comes down to. Don't get me wrong, it's not a bad game when it comes out. It's just I would question if it would go in a bag to come out if you took it to a kind of games night or a wider audience.
Yeah, and I think that comes down to the point of we're not the target audience for this. And when we say nation, I think there's also this bit of even younger gamers will get to a point where they will want to move on to something else. But I think this is a very good intro. So if you've got those younger kids that want to play with it, it's very kid friendly because these are large, these are nice chunky sizes. The cards are small, which also for kids that would struggle with with a hard normal hand of cards, they're the right size. These are quite little dexterous, the eggs to play with. So I think this is perfect for the target audience. It's thought about that really, really well. We know we're not the target audience for this. We've played this to do this review. John's obviously taking it back to the family, which was the main point with where this was coming from. We say that there is an Asian, but that's almost a given with this type of game. But you know what? We had a bit of a laugh with it. And we took it. It was a nice little light game. It's not going to be for a hobby collector to pick up off the shelf, but it's probably going to be something that somebody that walks in a game shop, sees it, knows the quality that Sinister Fish put out.
Yeah, and picks up. I think there's a lot to be said for the fact that this introduces people to hand management and resource gathering. Because you've got a limited amount of cards, you're having maybe to give some up to make sure you can go. And it's also getting younger people to think about what they need to pick up to be able to go in the future. So thinking turns ahead and getting into that because other games that have the resource management and hand management in them can be very confusing for younger players. So getting them used to that is not a bad thing at all.
Yeah, playing this and then playing Catan, for example, would be ideal because then you're moving on that extra complexity, but you still got the basic understanding of collection.
Even Ticket to Ride as well. That hasn't got a hand limit per se. That's just as many cards as you've got. But it's that it gives that mechanic and gives that flavour of them and gets them used to it. As you move through and people grow and want to play better and wider and more differing types of games.
Yeah, I definitely think this has a place for that sort of fun thing. So with all that being said then, John, would you play again?
Yeah. Yes, I would. Yeah, it's fun. It's good. There's interest in it, in the managing your cards and stuff. Yeah, I'll play it again.
I'll play it again. I mean, like you said, it's probably not going to come out very often, but when it does come out,
I think
absolutely.
It puts a smile on your face when you think about playing it. So when it does come out, you go, "Oh God, let's have a couple of goes." So
is that more because you want me to say the gaggle, the geese, the goose, and the gander?
Yeah.
Honk!
Gathering the goose and the gander. No, yeah.
So for me, I'd play it again. Like I say, we're not the target audience for that. We know that. But I think it was a bit of a laugh. It was a nice game to play. He gets there, and it might just be one. Do you know what? Sits on the shelf and go. Just have a cup of coffee and fancy just do this while we're doing it. With all that, then, John, would the family play it?
I think they would, but I think like you say, there comes a time when you move on to other games and other things come to the table. I don't think they have a problem with playing with it, but would one of them reached for it. If I got it out and said we're playing this, they'd probably play it. But I think if Charlie and Hannah wanted to pull something else off the shelf, I think they might. But I think they would be happy to play it.
So for context, how old are Charlie and Hannah?
Charlie's 15, Hannah's 12.
Yeah, so probably on the older age group of this, and also they're exposed to the games that you're bringing home all the time anyway.
Yeah.
So take that into a pinch of salt when you look at this and who you would recommend this for. I'd definitely say it sits in that family bracket, and for somebody that may know of board games or and has got a young family or something like that, perfect present, perfect gift in that sense.
Yeah.
If you haven't done so already, please check our other videos on the channel, give us a like and a subscribe, and we will catch you next time. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.